Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another fabulous episode of The Next Level Live. This week, we'll hop right into numbers. In January week 2, we hit 8,254,000, bringing our month-to-date and 2024 year-to-date to 18,724,000. We do have some agents to recognize today. This week, our agent spotlight featured Nick Zientek with FFL National. Nick is being recognized for helping 19 families in 1 week. Great work, Nick. We love to hear that. This week, our rising star featured Crystal Clark with FFL Undeniable. Crystal is being recognized for helping 9 families in just 1 day. Great work, Crystal. We do have a number of agents to induct into our Personal Production Hall of Fame. A big shout out to first-timer Elvir Bezdervik with FFL Gladiators. Big congrats to first-timer Jonathan Avia with FFL Fortitude. Congratulations to fourth-timer Daniel Chernati with FFL 360. Big congrats to third-timer Daryl Broadway with FFL Rocky Top. Congratulations to first-timer Elijah Goins with FFL Fin Fluent. Big congrats to first-timer Sierra Jones with FFL Gladiators. Congratulations to third-timer Matt Spalding with FFL Shepherds and Servants. Congrats to second-timer Jesse Parley with FFL Avenues. Big congrats to first-timer Russell Yetter with FFL Mindset. Congratulations to fourth-timer Evan Melchior with FFL Compassion. And big congratulations to second-timer Kashif Albishtawi with FFL Trident Life. Great work to you all. Coming up next, we've got Inside the Sale with Ricardo Hernandez. As always, we hope you enjoy.
All right, guys, welcome to the Next Level Live. You got my man Ricardo Hernandez with me today. How we doing, Ricardo?
Awesome.
Thanks for coming in, bro.
Thank you.
You still got your coat on like it's cold. Like you're inside, bro.
I mean, it's still cold out here, yeah.
For you, right?
Yeah.
But I appreciate you coming up or coming across the country to do this. If you've not checked out Ricardo's True Talk, please do that. Great story. You hear about how he found us and the struggles he's gone through in his life to get to where he's at today. But today we're going to talk about some sales stuff, right? Okay. Ricardo's a 2-time Hall of Fame member, right? You hit it this past year, 23, right, and then 22, right? Mm-hmm. So why do I tell you that? Because he knows how to help families at a high level, so he's qualified to talk to you today about what he's going to talk about. And we're going to talk about tone and body language, right? So now you do telesales.
Yes.
So some people may say, well, if you're on telesales, that means they can't see you.
Exactly.
So why is your body language important, right?
Right.
Now, I got an idea as to why, but let's hear it from you. Why is tone and body language important? And then if you can kind of break down what type of tone you have to have on the phone.
Just because, with tone, like, we're speaking only with them through the phone.
Yeah.
So we can't see them. They can pretty much see our body language.
Yeah.
Right? So we kind of have to lead them with our tone.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes down to the, the final, gritty of the why.
Yeah.
Right? That's when it's really important to pretty much do, change your tone. And it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What's the proper tone to have on the phone in your life?
I'll say like in the beginning, not being too energetic.
Yeah.
Right? Not being like too salesy. Right?
Hey, Mr. John. Like that
exactly.
doesn't work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not screaming like, hey, Mr. I never say Mr.
Never say Mr. No.
I always call them by their name.
Yeah.
Right? Just in the beginning, make it sound like, I'm here to do my job.
Yeah.
Right? Being comfortable with them, just like a monotone tone
at
the beginning. And then that's when you know when to change it, how to say the things at the end of the appointment or in the middle of the appointment as well.
Yeah. So you start here, even keel. And a lot of I've never done telesales. I've been out of the field for years, but we always did, in-home back when I sold. But a lot of the concepts that I hear you guys talk about telesales are very similar to the concepts we've had on phone script back in the day and even carried into the in-home. Like the what has worked in insurance sales has not really changed.
Right.
The platforms have changed. Instead of me going to your house now, you guys are doing a lot of over the phone, virtual, but a lot of the key concepts that worked back then still work today. And tonality was always a big one.
Right.
Like back on the phone script, it was always just be right in the middle. Don't be too up. Don't be too down. You don't want to sound like, you're miserable and, life sucks. But you it's like you have all these leads coming in, which you do, and there's all these people that need help, and you're busy.
Right.
If you're especially Hall of Fame producer, you guys are running a lot of appointments every single week. You want that to come across on the phone.
Right.
You don't want to sound like you got nothing to do and like this is your one call for the day.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So talk to me about that tonality from the beginning, right? So you're kind of in the middle, even keel, not too up, not too down, monotone, if you will.
Monotone.
And then
right.
when does it change? At what point in the appointment does it shift, and where do you shift it to?
I'll say once it comes down to the why.
Yeah.
Right. Explaining to them why they actually need this, or them telling you why they need this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Asking the certain questions the way you gonna say it.
Yeah.
So for example, like if something happens to you, Mary, what's gonna happen to you, or what's gonna happen to Bob? You know, not saying them like that because it could just like, oh, nothing will happen.
Right.
I'll be fine, right? Kind of changing it, like, so Mary, if you were to pass away, how would that day turn out for you? Kind of like pausing, you know, stuttering your words.
Bring some drama into it.
Right,
Almost.
yeah. Acting a little bit confused as well.
Yeah.
Just so they could like feel the words that you're telling them
Right.
over the phone.
Yeah. And I don't think, like, you don't have to fake it. Like,
Right.
if you know, if you understand how important what we do really is,
Right.
and if you're really in the conversation that we're having and you're not just reading off a script, right? Like,
Right.
if I'm reading a script, I go, Ricardo, what would happen to your wife if you weren't here today? Like,
Exactly. They're going to give you like a boring answer
Right.
as well. Nothing's going to happen to you.
exactly. But
Yeah.
if you're in it, like, hey, so explain to me, you don't come home from work tomorrow, right? You're in a horrible accident.
Right.
God forbid you don't show up. What's she going to do the next day? Like, bring it like you're having a real conversation versus just reading out, you know, if you don't come, like they see right through that.
Exactly.
And they're looking for a chink in your armor. Like,
Right.
they don't know you. You're some dude that just called them today off of
Right.
a form they filled out that at the moment they're trying to recollect, when did I fill it out? What was it? Like, that you have all this kind of working against you, you know, but so you got to be there in the appointment,
Right.
you know. Now, body language you mentioned. Explain that. Why is body language important even though they can't see you? How does that translate on the phone?
Because I'll say when the times that we move our body,
Yeah.
we also move our voice.
Mm-hmm.
So you see how I'm moving my hands right now?
Yeah,
I'm kind of changing my voice as well.
right.
And we're all doing over the phone. So if I sit down and just cross my hands
Yeah,
and just run my appointment, they're going to know that I'm crossing my hands and I
Right.
don't really care. If I'm into it, asking them, moving my hand, you know, body language, maybe standing up straight as well.
yeah,
They know that, okay, this guy means serious business by his tone.
right.
And then also just moving your hands, you know, when you're also presenting the options as well.
Yeah, I like that. When you move your hands, you move your voice.
Right.
But it's true. I mean,
Yeah.
it's what you would do in the home, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And you do want to emulate a lot of that on the phone because your goal's still the same. It's still the same job whether you're in the home or on the phone.
Yeah.
And I think some of the guys that have done best with the transition is they did their best to make their phone presentation just like an in-home presentation.
Right.
They didn't treat it any different.
Right.
You know, did you realize that when you made that transition?
Yeah, in the beginning, I didn't know anything. I was just reading off my script, you know,
Yeah.
doing what I was doing in home.
Yeah.
But I was doing it. I was getting some success.
Yeah.
I started doing more training, you know, using body language,
Mm-hmm.
moving my hands as well, tone. That's when I started seeing like, okay, so this is the only thing that we have,
Yeah.
which is our voice over the phone, right? So we need to kind of make them friendly, make them believe in us,
Yeah.
right? Not being any salesperson. You know, we're calling over the phone. Everybody nowadays are scared to do stuff over the phone, so we just gotta, you know, kind of unwrap them. I'll say like people are kind of like gifts.
Yeah.
We kind of have to unwrap them so we can know who
Like that.
they are at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you're literally peeling layers back throughout your appointment, right? Like Sean
Right.
used to say, like, it's like peeling an onion.
Right.
There's all these layers, right?
Right.
And it starts with the small talk. Hey, how long you live? I mean, when we're in the home, how long you live there? Where are you from? And then it ends up getting deeper to, hey, why'd you fill this out?
Right.
What happens if someone passes away? And then you're talking about finance. I mean, you talk about a lot of personal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it almost has to get there. You can't do that from the minute you start your phone call.
Right.
But I believe that you can't get there if you don't have the right tonality.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Right.
I mean, and you've done it the right way and the wrong way because that's how you learn, right?
Right.
What were some things like what were some signs early on that your tone was off or, you know, the emotion wasn't coming through? Like what would you notice about the client's reactions when you weren't on?
I mean, they were just not interested.
Really?
I'll get the thing about it.
Yeah.
I don't need this. So how long is it gonna take?
Yeah.
Right in the first 5 or 10 seconds.
Yeah.
The way they answered the phone and the first question I asked, I knew how this appointment is not gonna go anywhere.
Yeah.
Or I wasn't just doing the right proper training as
Right.
well.
Early on, did you know that it was you, or did you think it was them?
I was a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, what am I? I'm doing everything I was doing in home. What am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
Like, it's they don't trust me. They don't trust me right now. So I need to do something here.
Yeah. But that's good. I think that's why you've been able to get better and I mean, got to the point where you're hitting Hall of Fame because that approach of I need to get better.
Right.
So a lot of people look at that same situation as, well, the clients aren't interested.
Mm-hmm.
Then they say things like, these leads are all clients who aren't interested.
Right.
Like, well,
Right.
I think someone with the right mindset would say the opposite,
Mm-hmm.
but it's your mindset going into it. Like you said when we were talking on your True Talk was, if you put those things out there that, hey, no one's going to answer the phone, these people aren't going to buy life insurance, no one's interested. Like, I love that, too. Like, we run 2 appointments, and they're interested, and we go, nobody's interested.
Right.
Like, my daughter says that, but she's 12. Everyone's always doing everything. Dad, everyone's saying this. I'm like, baby, really, everyone? Well, and you break down, it's like 2 people.
Right.
But we do the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of my clients are interested. Like, bro, calm down. You ran like 3 appointments.
Keep going. Right?
Yeah, it's not all the clients.
Right.
And actually, you screw those up. So did you start to know, or did you know early on that it was your tone that was causing them to give you that feedback, or how did you figure that out?
I'm gonna say it was I started noticing like, okay, let me try it out. Let me try to change something here. Let me try to actually talk to them, get to know them. Let me try to make a friend here.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I was just robotic. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's read the script. A, B, C. Here we go. But after a while, I'm like, okay, let me try to make a friend here. Like I'm meeting somebody. And I don't know how it worked, but it worked, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Explain. So when you say I'm trying to make a friend, what does that look like on the phone? What were some changes you made to try to make a friend?
Just changing the way I talk to them, right?
Yeah.
Before, I kind of sounded like customer service, but like too boring, right? I'm like, who is this guy? This guy's just here trying to sell me something. But then after that, I changed my tone.
Yeah.
I asked more about them.
Okay. You weren't doing that before.
No, because people just love talking about themselves.
Yes, they do.
Right. So the more I asked them, the more I got to get to know them.
Yeah.
And then the easier it kind of got.
Yeah.
Afterwards, they trust me with everything else.
When you were struggling on the phone, were your appointments shorter?
They were usually like 10 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you can't do anything in 10 minutes.
Exactly.
Not in this business. How long are they now?
They're about like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, you want to spend that extra time, especially when it's straight telesales. You want to spend that extra time with them to make sure, like you said, you're making a friend. You can call it whatever you want. You call it making a friends. People call it building rapport, connecting, whatever. It's the same concept.
Right.
It's finding, it's sharing things, right? So you got to share about yourself a little bit. Like Sean always used to say, imagine that, and this is a, I guess, in-home analogy, but imagine there's a imaginary piggy bank right here in between us, right? And for every deposit I want you to make, I have to make one. I got to share something about myself and then ask you something about you. And we both deposit into this bank until it's full.
Right.
And through that, we're going to find a lot of things we have in common. We're going to find some key points as to why you need life insurance. Like, we're going to get to know you enough. Now, it's not too much. Some people here make a friend and they're in there for 3 hours.
That's the thing, right?
We don't want you to make your best friend.
Right,
We're not trying to find best friends for life here. We're just trying to make that connection with them. And it, like you said, it is going back and forth a lot.
Right.
So you started asking a lot more questions.
A lot more questions about themselves as well. Because sometimes, some of the agents, they try to make a friend, but I tell them, like, this needs to be a certain way.
Yeah.
Because then they're gonna be like, I actually don't want this, and it's been 2 hours on the phone.
Right.
Right. So you just need to learn how to actually bring them back into the conversation. Because if they start talking about themselves, they just go off rail.
Right.
Like, hey, Mary, so I'm kind of have a timer here. I'm like, my time zone was up, so let's get back to this, and then once we're done, we'll get back to that.
Right. You got to be the one steering the boat the whole time.
Exactly, right.
And, okay, well, you ask them something, they start going off on a tangent. It's okay to go, hey, Ricardo, no, that's great. Hey, real quick. So this option, like, it's okay to bring them back to that. So real quick, what do you know about life insurance? Do you have anything right now?
Right.
Like, just find another question to steer them back.
Right.
And then you can continue with the rapport building when you're filling out the app. Like, I used to do a lot of that. Like, build some rapport in the beginning, right? But as we're going through the application, because, I mean, especially now with the e-apps, you may have to wait for some things to load. Like, there's definitely some lag there where you can take advantage of that and build some more. And then when, hey, while this loads, anyways, tell me a little bit more about your kid. Like, okay, now, hey, it's ready. What's your middle initial? Like, you can flip back and forth. But the key is you have to remain in control the entire time.
Right.
It's your appointment.
Exactly.
And I think
you're the doctor, right?
Absolutely. How about, that mentality? Like, did you learn that, or did you understand that early on, that whole doctor-patient relationship that we have with clients, or no?
No, I thought that I was here.
Yeah.
So they could tell me that they want this, right?
Got it.
Like, hey, Ricardo, can you sign me up with this, please? That's what I thought.
Yeah, like, so that was like customer service.
Exactly, yes. And then turn out it wasn't like that, right?
Right. Because, I mean, imagine if that's how doctors were. Like, hey, come in. So what do you want me to give you for medication, Ricardo? You're like, I don't even know I need medication.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, just pick one. What's wrong with you? Like, you're supposed to tell me.
Right.
And it's the same thing here. It's like, when you go to the doctors, like if you call a doctor today and whatever, you ain't feeling good, you want to get checked out, you go in on their schedule. You don't call the doctor and go, hey, dude, I'd like to come in about an hour. They go, Ricardo, we got a 2 o'clock and a 5 o'clock available. Which one works? No, I want to come in at noon. Hey, we have a 2 or a 5. Which one works for you? Neither? Right. Okay, you can't come in today.
Right.
Right, but it's the same mentality here, or it should be anyway.
Right, exactly.
You have what they need. They filled out the form to look into life insurance. You're the only one with a license on the phone.
Act like it.
They need you.
Right.
But it's once you learn that and you really internalize that, then I believe you can get to the point where you want to be from a production standpoint. You have to get that. You have to understand that first.
Right.
Anything else on the tone that you feel you want to hit on, leaving out, or maybe most important aspects?
I'll say the other thing, learning how to change the tone.
Yeah.
Because when we dial, right, we pretty much just dial, like, they teach us, like, oh, you hate your job, right?
Yeah.
Don't take that mindset into the appointment.
Right.
Because if you do, you're not gonna pretty much have no success. That's what's happening. That I was doing that in the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So that same personality you have on the dial, you were carrying that into your appointment.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll just dial like a boring person.
Yeah.
And then I'll run the appointment like a boring person, and I'll get a boring result.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. It's a huge change because when you're booking an appointment, you don't want a lot of emotion there.
Right.
It's just I'm getting back to you about something you filled out. I got to schedule a time to get you the information when you're available.
Right.
It's got to be. But to your point, if you carry that into the in-home or your presentation, you're not going to be able to help the family.
Exactly, because if you're building rapport in the appointment, you're not gonna book it, right? So there's certain things that you're not supposed to do. Right. You can't make a friend during the booking the appointment because they're just gonna tell you no, right?
Yeah. Now, do you have a dialer, or do you dial for yourself now?
Now I have a dialer. Yeah.
You think that makes it easier?
It does.
Yeah.
Right. I could just be producing, helping agents as well. And just taking care of all the clients I have as well.
I have a belief on that. Tell me if you agree. I think that in order for you to have a dialer, I think you first need to get good at booking appointments.
100%.
Yeah.
100%, right.
Because how are you going to, how do you know what standard to hold them to, and who's going to teach your dialer?
Exactly, yeah.
Your dialer's not going to, just because they're a dialer doesn't mean they know how to dial the way we do. It's very different from a lot of other companies dial, like the customer service, the telemarketer. Hey, Mr. John, and they get a lot of no's, and that's why most people are trained. Ours is very different. It's presumptive sale because it's lead-based. They did fill something out.
Right.
So I believe that you got to get really good at booking appointments before you can. It's almost like you got to earn your dialer.
Exactly. You have to. Yeah, you just have to go through the whole struggle.
Yeah.
And then you're able to get that dialer.
Yeah.
As well.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you coming and doing this. I really do. And I think it's great stuff. I mean, tonality it's a massive piece of this business from every aspect, even from recruiting. And and you'll learn this as you start to recruit more. Like, it's the same thing. You don't want to call people, hey, you want to join my team? Like,
exactly.
You have something that is very, very unique. You have an opportunity that is great. And in order for to join my team, tell me why you should join my team.
Exactly.
Why should I bring you on? Because
Right.
they're independent. This is not employee based. They're 1099 independent contractors. You decide who you want to work with and who you don't. You know, so that same mentality that you have as you start to recruit more, carry that over there because it will help you win out. You know, but again, I appreciate you doing this, Ricardo. Thanks for coming in. Guys, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button, share, like this video, and you know where to find us every week right here on the Next Level Live. We'll see you soon.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out True Talk this coming Tuesday at 8 a.m. with Sierra Jones. And as a reminder, there will be no TNL next week because we'll see you all at convention. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.